Hello, everybody. So today, I kind of want to talk on a topic that a lot of people, I don't think around my age, really talk about as much anymore. It just seems kind of like unspoken. Like nobody really speaks about this. No one really cares to speak on it, and it kind of makes me mad because it's something that needs to be talked about. So the thing that needs to be talked about, I feel like, in my opinion, it's growing up in general. I feel like just a couple days ago, I was like freaking 12 years old, just living my life away, not giving a care in the world about anything, and I was just living my life, and I would give everything to give that up again. Now I'm 16, I'm going to be a junior in high school, and I just keep thinking, man, what happened to going with my life and thinking, math is easy. Now I'm doing geometry going into algebra 2. Man, life really kind of just changed, you know? It kind of brings me over to the fact that a lot of your friends too that you've kind of grown up with, you aren't really friends with anymore. And if you still are, you most likely don't talk as much or bond as much as you used to. Because as we get older, our personality changes, right? I can tell you one thing for sure. I'm not the same person that I was back when I was like 12 years old. I am completely different. I'm way more passionate and not comparing, but loving person rather than when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? Because when I was younger, I used to just kind of give a care about myself. I used to not care about anyone else except myself, and that's kind of like what I feel like everyone was doing back then, was only caring for themselves and not really caring for others. As you kind of got older into your more later years, which I know it was only 4 years ago, you had to kind of realize with girlfriends, with your family, you kind of got to care for everyone, not just yourself. You have to make sure everyone else is set in your life and not just, you know, left hanging. So you have to provide support for them. But see, I don't have this issue, but I find a lot of other people with this issue around my age is that they find themselves dealing with so many different things and trying to help others that they leave themselves in a state of depression and don't help their own mental health out, which is not understandable for me considering I always leave time for my mental health, and I feel like others should too. And it kind of makes me mad whenever someone else doesn't, and I'm having to sit there having to listen to them, but like I always am so helpful towards other people. I just can't help myself because I don't have enough time. Make the time. Sure, you have to grow up, you have to help other people, but you don't have to, not lose time for yourself. Another thing I also wanted to top off was mainly just kind of people thinking I'm childish. Other people thinking, oh, you're too childish to do all that nowadays. That's stupid. You're not childish to do anything. You can live your life the way you want to. You're still a child. 16 years old, 17 years old, hell, even 18 years old and younger. Personally, I see, act childish. Go ahead. You still have your entire life ahead of you. The average lifespan of a human is 80 years. That means you still have, like, what, almost a whole 62 years ahead of you when you're 18 years old. And I don't understand why people think, oh, you need to grow up. You need to get out of that habit. You need to quit being such a child. I can understand if it came to serious topics, like you're so childish and like serious stuff and you can't be talked with serious around. But if you just like childish things, I personally feel like that's perfectly fine. You should be able to be a child. People telling you you can't be a child, and now you have the opportunity to go do those childish things that you've wanted to do for so long, but you've never had the transportation. You've never had the trust between your parents, and now you finally do. And people think it's too childish. That's something I've never understood, and I feel like that people should address more with their parents. I can completely understand not talking to your parents about your mental health and your feelings, but there's a certain point where you kind of have to. I feel like that certain point kind of reaches whenever, like, you start to hate your parents. I feel like every teenager's gone through the phase of hating their parents. I know I have. And you have to kind of build a relationship with your parents. Your parents kind of have to you have to talk with your parents. You have to understand why the things that they do is what they do, you know? Because if you don't, then you're going to end up with a horrible relationship with your parents when you're older. Another thing is making relationships with friends. I understand friends can get a little touchy sometimes, but make sure you always are making the best out of what you can. Always keeping relationships with your friends really good. Always keeping in touch. Always talking to them. Always making sure they're all right. Because there can be that one day that you just wake up and your friend is not there anymore. They could be gone. They can be erased from this earth, and you would wake up just thinking, there's so much I wish I could have done with them, and it's just, you can't. You can't do anything with them anymore because they're simply just not there anymore, you know? And I feel I feel that it should be more well known with something like that, and everyone should understand that it all comes down to the way you think about things. You can't just throw yourself into a situation and expect the best out of it. You have to kind of go along with life, realizing, whatever happens, happens. If it happens, then I go along. But you don't necessarily bring yourself down in a situation just because one thing's bad in your life. Always bring yourself up. You think, dang, bad things happen, but, personally, the way I see it, good outweighs the bad. Keep yourself in mind in case anything does happen to you in the future with growing up, is that keep in mind that good outweighs the bad. Okay, I'm not going to bring up such sensitive topics because I know that these can be kind of triggers for people, but let's say your pet frog died, you are sad, I would be sad too, my pet frog, but I just personally see, I wouldn't let it get me down for more than a couple days, because why spend the rest of your life mourning over something that you can't change? I understand mourning, I understand crying, it's a human bodily function, but I've never understood personally why some people just spend their entire lives doing it. You waste your life away mourning something that you couldn't have changed and something that you couldn't have done. But I'm getting kind of off topic here. I mainly just wanted to touch on the topics of that fact that people just need to stop being such a-holes when it comes to growing up. And yeah, so this is my channel. So if you want to, leave a like and subscribe. You don't have to. I'm going to be doing more content like this most likely if this gets a good amount of views. But if not, probably won't. But still, thank you for tuning in and listening to my kind of ramble. And you have a good day.